sure?
Well, come to think of it, they were high boots, turned down low.
Oh, well then, put me.
It's just
Why are
sick.
you so het up, Tom?
Oh, I had to shoot my dog.
Or was he mad?
Guess he wasn't so damn pleased.
Okay.
The best of Bert and I.
I was doing the swearing in down at the courthouse last winter when they brought up that old fella to the stand. He'd been witness to the accident out on the Otter Cove Road. Summer people speeding along, they'd run over one of Oscar Glover's cows. Same one that'd been clawed by a bear 2 winters ago. I got the witness up before the judge. What's your name?
An old bunker,
How old are you?
about 85,
Where do you live?
Bailey Island Way.
You lived there all your life?
Not yet.
Even Robbie went down to the Tremont Temple in Boston one
Anyway.
Saturday night to hear Norman Thomas speak.
When I was working as a conference
Next
coordinator
Monday,
at the
he
Whittemore
was
School,
preaching socialism.
we
in
ran a
Knox
conference at
over that fence.
Wentworth by the Sea in
You know,
Newcastle,
Yeah.
You
that
say,
big hotel,
under socialism,
and
person shares
behavioral scientists,
You
psychologists,
saving, and if you had
psychiatrists
two
from all over the
fans, you'd
country
Give me one of them.
were coming to this conference.
I had 2 fans.
And we had to handle all the reservations, as well
You
as send them out
saving, and if you want to,
brochures, the people
You
that
give me
accepted,
one?
send them out brochures as to what to do in Portsmouth
I
area,
had 2
etc.
Ray-Rex.
But we needed
I
a
could give you
speaker
one of them.
for Saturday night, or we needed some sort of
You had
entertainment.
2 hogs, even.
And the band that we had lined
Give
up
me one of them.
pooped. And I don't know who came up with this idea about Marshall Dodge. But he lives in Maine,
Bert and I come down to the dock around
Booth Bay
6 o'clock
Harbor
in the
area
morning.
or
Bert went
whatever.
into the bake shack to get some
So we gave him a call, a
and I
last
went
minute
down
call,
on
and
the
sure
dock
enough,
to
he was
stack
free.
up the Bluebird.
Came down on the
Closed
bus,
across
and
the
I had to
main
pick him
switch
up
on the
at the
old
bus
Knox
station in
Marine
Portsmouth,
one-runner,
drive him to the
opened up
Wentworth
the
by the
fuel
Sea.
line, primed
We
the
fed him
cylinder,
dinner, he did
Bert
his,
started cranking her over.
I love his accent.
well, he does all the sound effects himself,
Yeah.
too. So I got to meet him, that was a
She
long,
fired
long time
right up
ago.
on the first try. Most folks think she
And they
was
had him on
kind of rough.
Chronicle on Channel 9.
No
That's
kidding.
just the way
Yeah.
them old make and break one lungers.
And so
Sometimes they don't fire for 10
I wrote a
strokes.
note to myself and I
Flywheel
looked
is
it up
heavy enough to
online and
carry
ordered
in
the
between.
CD.
Cast off, Bert. Bert cast off the mooring lines and the Bluebird made off to Ledyard Point.
Now, can I fix you a sandwich?
What kind of stuff do you got?
I have some turkey,
When we come
And I
out from
have
under the
oatmeal
lee of
bread,
the land, we
and I
commence to
have
roll
mayonnaise,
something fierce.
and I have
So we
some
put up the
apple.
steadying sail. Then, right out into
Then
the
I have
middle of the
yogurt.
channel, we
Well, that all
run
sounds
around.
wonderful, except for the apple and the yogurt.
Okay?
Yeah, turkey and mayonnaise would be fine.
Stove in the boat.
Thanks.
When the rock we had struck hove up alongside of us, we could see
Now,
was a
it
fight.
says 58 to 2008. Does that
Hit
mean
him, 'cause he
he's
just
still
lay
alive,
there
right?
and
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, because that would make him 50
As the
years old.
Bluebird went down under us, we jumped up on top
How old
of
is
the
he?
whale and stepped the mast of
Gotta
the
be my age or
steadying
older.
sail
Really?
with his blowhole.
Yeah.
So he probably-
Because I can remember when he came down off the bus, he's like 6'4", and he walks, oh yeah, he's a handsome guy.
Now, how old is he there?
That's a young picture.
Okay, I was going to say, because he does not
Really
look,
young. No.
he does not look a day over 40 something.
Yeah. So, he walks like this,
Oh,
you know.
1970.
Okay.
That was before I was born.
Okay.
All
right.
He was an undergraduate student at Yale.
Yes,
No kidding. My grandfather, who I'm named after, was a Yale alumni.
yeah.
Member of the Skull and Bone Society. And still to this day, well, when my grandmother died, my mother and my sister hid the will. They won't let me read it.
Yeah, you told me that.
And there's only like a couple things that I want that my grandma was saving for me. She told me. She showed me the book with the skull and bones on it that's actually holographic.
Mm-hmm.
She said, when after I go, I'll give this to you.
The Yale.
The Skull and Bones yearbook.
Yep.
And I want it bad, real bad, because it's got connections in it. And if I go and throw my name to some of these guys in this book, if I can look them up and find them, I bet you I could get work. I could get whatever I wanted. I could blend right in. And then, you know, on top of that, she had a stamp collection and a coin collection for me
Go right ahead.
that she was saving my whole entire life, and they just keep it there. They wouldn't even let me in her house.
I know. You told me this.
It's just, you know.
So anyway, I fell in love with Bert.
He sounds awesome.
I fell in love with Bert, and he was so tall, and he, you know, he walked like this because he always had to get through the doorway. Anyway, I gotta wash my hands.
Yeah.
I was married at the time, but my tongue was hanging out, you know, when I
Yeah.
looked at him.
Yeah.
He left right after his performance, and I gave him a ride back to the bus. And I'm thinking, oh, if only he would shake my hand or touch my shoulder and say thank you or something. But he didn't. He just hopped out and said, thanks a lot. See you later.
Does it
He
make
hopped
any
on the
difference
bus.
which road I take?
Ah,
Not to me, it don't.
so.
Could you give me any directions to Portland?
Oh.
You can probably eat too, Sandy, but small bread.
Tell you what to do.
What's funny is when he's done this a couple times, and now it's this track called Directions, and he did it before, where Which Way to Millinocket. And when you go ask directions in Maine, it's really hard to get directions. The way that people tell you, it's like, well, you know that little blue stone down there on the side of the road down there. And like, you're going, no, I don't know the blue stone. I don't know. Do you know the name of the road? Well, that's the road that goes to such and such place. It's like, no, the name of the road. You know, no, don't know the name of the road. It's so funny. I've been trying to copy their accent. He does it well. I've been trying to copy their accent for years because I've always wanted to move to Maine, and I've always tried to copy the accent. It's not easy to do because I was born in the South, and most of my family was in the South. So when I try to do the Maine accent, it kind of blends into a Southern drawl too much.
Yeah, you have to widen your A.
It's almost a cross between New
I'm
York
sorry
and
to pull
Georgia.
you over like this, mister.
It's kind
You
of
weren't
funny,
speeding
funny
or
accent.
nothing like that, but I'm just curious about why you stopped every 10 miles and hit the side of your truck with a baseball bat.
It's this way, officer. I got a 1-ton truck here, and 3 tons of chickens in the back, and I've got to keep 2 tons in the air all the while. I'm telling you, Charlie, I'm never going to live up to the terms of the contract with the paper company. I've got 25 cod left to cut in only 3.5 days.
That chainsaw we thought should do the trick.
You can have your chainsaw. I go back to the day.
Let's cut up the fish with the chainsaw.
Yeah.
I only cut the cod all week.
Well, just a minute. Let me start it up.
What's that noise?
Oui, monsieur, I am Gagnon, world champion musculaire. Already when I am born, I am champion musculaire. I let out my first polaire in that little cabin in the Halagash. Woo! And 3 moose, they walk in through the door. I reached the age of 12, and the governor of the state of Maine, he asked me to make a moose count for him. He knows I am the only man in together at one time. I climb up Mount Katahdin to the highest peak in the state, and
you go outside.
I let out my moose
Come on.
flare. As soon as it bounces off Cadillac Montagne and make echo of Mars Hill,
Now,
everywhere there is a clatter.
your front door
I have to
out here
climb
doesn't
up
have the
so
screen
I
in
don't
it. You
get
want me to put the screen in?
stomped to death.
No, you know why?
From this perch,
Because he jumps
I
up.
count
Oh,
And he'll put holes in the screen.
342,698 moose, 5
Thank
Alaska
you.
caribou, and a dog with Hawaiian license tag. Oui, monsieur, I am Gagnon, world champion
Okay,
moose
that's
collar.
good for that one.
Last year when I retired, I am asked to New York to show a group of sportsmen how I make my collar. I am scared about what will happen, even though I take out moose insurance. After the dinner, I get up and give my moose call.
you can be liberal on the mayonnaise for mine. I'm a
Well,
I'm a
as
mayonnaise
soon
head.
as it strike Radio City, hit Empire State,
Then I'm not gonna try to
and
cut
bounce
it.
back from World
Just
Trade
gonna switch
Center.
it all out.
You hear a clatter of hoof in
I'll
hallway,
cut it. It's all right.
and doors fly open to show first ugly nose, then mournful
It
eyes,
hangs up on the
then
back of that.
massive rack, the powerful four quarters, huge hindquarters of 8 foot tall
Where do you
bulls, pawing the red plush
Run
carpet.
down cellar stairs,
These sportsmen,
please.
ha! They dive behind tables and chairs. But I let
These
out
paper
a
towels are
little
still good.
moose.
Okay.
Prepare.
We'll put this.
And the moose he walk over into the corner where he stands as quiet as a
This I'm not
baby.
gonna wash.
Next morning I take him with me on the train back to Maine.
I'm not gonna wash.
When I lead the moose into the woods,
Make salad dressing.
I see he walk
I
stiff-legged.
am collecting
And I could have swear
size and
I see
jars.
sawdust
And plastic
trickle out of one ear.
Okay,
Sure
get the
enough,
stool. You'll have to
2
get the
days
stool.
later,
You know why
I
I'm doing that?
receive a
The other thing
letter
I'm looking for
from
desperately,
one
and I
of
might
those
get more than
sportsmen
one.
in which
It's more than
there is
pestle.
a clipping
Can't have
from
No, I know.
the New York
Um,
Times
I
So
have,
I'm just saying,
reporting
spot
the
one.
strange
I got the word out to
disappearance
everybody. I work in the
of
first
the
shop.
moose
I have a bee pot.
Lasky's at the Natural
that
History.
you make baked
Museum.
beans in.
Oh no.
Oui, monsieur. I am
Okay, so you
Gagnon,
need a stool.
world
To
champion,
the top.
moose collar.
You talking about these here?
Yeah.
A city slicker come to the Maine woods to rough it. His guide
Can't
sent
have
him
that
off to
one.
the
The one
spring to
that's
fetch a
fudge
pail of
sauce.
water.
Can't have the fudge sauce.
And that
No
slicker
fudge
come
sauce?
back in the cabin in 1 minute time, all feather white with fear, and the pail empty and rattling in his right hand. What on earth is the matter with you? Asked the guide.
You want
You know
those?
why I'm doing it?
There's a bear and he's standing up to his belt line in that spring, replied the slicker.
And this woman.
Well, for heaven's sakes, that bear's just as afraid of you as you are of him.
Grasses and grain.
Oh, replied the slicker. Well, then, in that case, then that water wouldn't be fit for to drink anyhow.
Grind it in mortar and pestle and make flour.
I don't know about your farm in Maine, mister, but I have a ranch in Texas
They make bread.
that is so large it takes me 5 days to drive around my entire
All you
spread.
need is.
I have a cat just like that myself.
That's what my Indian tells me. The
Will the
Indian
fog lift, Captain?
Madam,
around
might
rock,
be it
put
might,
that in a
and might be
stream.
it mightn't,
Mhm.
but it won't
Okay.
if it ain't a mind to.
Captain,
How are we doing?
I see you have a drought here, too, like we have back in New York City.
No, madam, 'tis low tide.
Captain, I hear you talking to yourself often. Are you lonely?
I like to talk to an intelligent man, and I like to hear an intelligent man speak.
What a terrible mess that seagull has made on your lapel, Captain. I'll be right back with some toilet paper.
Do you want other kinds of
By the time you
containers?
find that toilet paper, that seagull will be a mile from here.
Yeah, you know, for food
Good
storage.
heavens.
You know, I don't
Wasn't
use
that
those.
a rock we just
What about
threw?
these?
No, don't use those kind.
Didn't you know where that
Thread
rock
is
was?
good.
Of course I
Jars,
did.
because they're
Hit it,
glass.
didn't I?
are good. Glass
Do you
is not
own
good.
another
The
boat
jar
beside this one,
sterilized
Captain?
before I store food.
Yeah.
Where is she?
And
On the bottom.
yeah, so I'm
Do you
collecting.
intend to sail her again?
Not where she is.
Captain, am I right in saying you raise minks on the side?
You are correct, Mary.
How often do you skin them?
Something
More
else.
than once a year makes them nervous.
May have what, huh?
What are those fish doing in that bucket?
Jelly on it.
Saving them from a cow.
Butter and jelly.
Do you feed your cow fish?
I don't have any
Yeah,
fingers.
she thrives on them.
What does her milk taste like after eating
Said you
fish?
wanted to cut it.
Cussing strong mackerel.
You drink it that way?
No, but heat it and slice an onion into it,
What
and
else?
you got the finest fish chowder in all the
Think
winter.
again.
Welcome.
Captain, I understand that you are one of the biggest liars along the coast of Maine.
I believe
What I'll
that is what
probably do
my reputation is.
leave these
And
for
may
Jane.
I say, madam, you are
And
one
have
of the
it
most
just
beautiful ladies
drive up.
I have ever seen.
Bring it with me.
Want that?
Henry Whipple called the doctor as soon as his wife begun to have contractions. He got the pitchers of hot water and the
All right,
towels
let's sit
ready,
down to eat,
and the
okay?
doctor asked Henry to hold up the lantern as he delivered the child. Just as the doctor was washing up to go home, the contractions started again. "Hold up the lantern, Henry," he said, and the doctor delivered a baby girl. "Wait, Henry, wait. Hold up that lantern so I can see here." And the doctor delivered another girl. "What are you doing, blowing out the lantern, Henry?" asked the doctor. "The light's
You
drawn,"
want your plate?
Henry replied.
Oh, I thought that other sandwich was yours.
No.
Well, I don't know if I'll eat two.
I told you, I asked you if you could eat two.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Why, he was so dirty.
I'll save a bite for
In the
Errol.
wintertime, steam would come out from between his sheets, like it comes
Thanks.
off of a manure pit. One summer,
You okay?
people complained so much about Virgil just being around, the constable brought him in before Judge Dyer. Virgil,
My heart's going.
you ever comb your hair? Oh, I did.
Oh,
once,
thinking about him.
but it almost killed me. How often do you change your shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, about once
Listen to
a
this.
year. Why? How often do you change yours? Once a day. Sometimes twice when it's hot. But Judge, how can you call me dirty when you soiled 365 shirts to my one? Well, that was all the judge needed. His gavel come down, and right then and there he sentenced Virgil to a bath. It didn't take Virgil long to get dirty again. A month later, Virgil was pulling pots in the harbor when a pot pulled him instead. He sank straightway to the bottom and never did come up. People say that the dirt just drug him down.
Oh.
Mr. Perkins come down to my place this morning and asked me if I would build him a new privy. I said, "Mr. Perkins, where was you aiming for to build it?" He said, "T'other side of the lot, by the lilacs. And then it'd be real pleasant
Is this
in
for
the
Errol?
spring." Well, I said, "Mr. Perkins, it's your privy." And I
I'm
got
gonna save
spurs
some
for
for the little one.
floorboards when Mr. Perkins come out and he said, "Si, I've been
save a little
thinking
then.
some more about this
Let him
privy.
lick the plate.
And if it's t'other side of the lot with the lilacs, it's going to be awful fur in the winter." Said if it was over this side of the lot with the chestnuts, it'd be much more convenient than cold winter months. Well, I said, "Mr. Perkins, it's your privy." Well, I got as far as the roofing, and Mr. Perkins come out and he said, "Si, I've been thinking some more about this privy of mine. And it seems to me if it's this side of the lot with the chestnuts, what with the prevailing wind being south-southwest, And the house standing just northeast of that privy, it's going to be awful uncomfortable for the lady folks in the kitchen during the summer months. So I think if we had this privy halfway between the lilacs and the chestnuts, then neither would it be too far in the winter nor too close in the summer. Well, I said, Miss Perkins, it's your privy. And I got as far as what you might call the interior decorating when Miss Perkins come out, and he was all het up. He said, "Consign it, Si, I told you from the very start that I wanted a 2-hole privy, and there you've gone ahead and framed it up for 1 hole hole." I said, "Miss Perkins, it's your privy, and I don't want to seem to be dictating to you or nothing like that, but it seemed to me that if I'd framed it up as a 2-holer, and you'd come out to it some night, shall we say, pressed for time, before you made up your mind which one of them 2 holes set on, Miss Perkins, be too late, that's all."
Camden Pierce, who lives out
Quite
in
get that one.
Cannons Falls, Maine, was rocking in his parlor one afternoon, listening to the radio set when the telephone started in a jangling. He picked it up. It was
That's
the radio
I.
station
That's the
calling.
other guy.
"Oh, this Camden Pierce?" He said, "Yes, sir."
Robert
"Well, what's
Bryan.
the name of
Yep.
that tune we're playing?" Camden knew it. Battle Hymn of the Public. They said, "You got it. Besides that, you just won a 2 weeks trip to New York City." Of course, Camden never been out of the state. He'd only been to Bangor once. And that was the time the bull moose wandered into town and was chased into the hardware store by the school children. Camden left for New York, and 2 weeks later he was back. Mayor Johnson had thought it was fitting to have a reception committee, man and all. When Camden stepped out onto the platform, the mayor said, "How do you like New York?" Camden answered, "There was so much going on at the depot, I didn't get a chance to see the village."
My wife Hetty finally got me to stop biting fingernails.
"How'd you do that, Vijay?"
Oh, she hid my teeth
"How did you caught Hetty, Vijay?"
with a lantern.
"A lantern. That's old-fashioned. I never carried a lantern to caught him."
It don't surprise me none. Just look what you got, poking round in the dark.
"Vijay, how'd you ever get to marry Hetty, smelling like a bait barrel the way you do?"
I proposed downwind.
"How did you come to pick Hetty, Vijay? She's awful plain."
Oh, it's true, she ain't no dresser. But most of the girls nowadays, their rigging is worth more than their house.
"Hetty had got kind of heavy, ain't she, Vijay?"
Yeah, that's true too. But she's shade in the summer and warmth in the winter.
"Who's your wife voting for, Vijay?"
For the same man I'm voting for.
"Who's that?"
She ain't decided yet.
"Understand she ain't voting in the presidential elections, Vijay."
Yeah,
"How come?"
she don't want to give 'em no encouragement.
"Your roof is leaking bad, Vijay. Why don't you fix it?"
It's raining.
"Well, then fix it when it's not raining."
Well, then it's not leaking.
"Why don't you take a bath, Vijay? Then people won't have to run around to windward of you."
Well, I kinda like to see what to do when the wind is coming in off the ocean. And I'm hugging the shore.
"Just out of curiosity, Vijay, when was the last time you washed your hands?"
The last year, I was cleaning a carburetor in a pail of gasoline. And I dissolved 2 or 3 layers of dirt off my hands. And you know, I come down to a pair of mittens I had been missing for over 4
a skunk.
Do you want any fur?
Fur?
Yeah,
What kind of fur?
Where'd you keep 'em?
I tie him under the bed.
Tails,
What about the smell?
From
You'll just have to get used
animals.
what do you say? You cut them off and let them free, or?
Reverend Forbes had just a single person in his congregation one Sunday, Henry Treat, a farmer of 78. The hymn sounded reedy with only Henry, the Reverend Forbes, and Miss Thomas, the organist, to sing in.
What kind of animals?
Didn't do so bad though, 'cause Henry liked to shout the responses right out. Then the Reverend scratched his head,
Nutria,
peered over the edge of the
mink.
pulpit, and asked Henry in a whisper if he should go
I'd
ahead
like to
and
look at
deliver
them.
the sermon with
I'd
only
look at
Henry and Miss
garage.
Palmer there
In
to
the
hear
garage?
it.
Yeah, I'll
Henry
take it off.
replied
We're
that
gonna
when
feed our
only
dogs,
one
right?
calf
Yeah.
appeared
Here,
at
you can
feeding
take
time,
those
he fed it.
and give them to both of them.
Reverend
Split them
Forbes
up.
delivered a
No,
spirited
'cause he only
sermon
eats a little
lasting
bit.
2
Oh,
hours.
well, Arrow will eat that.
After
Okay,
the
we
service,
can shut this off
the
for a minute
Reverend
if we
shook
go out in the
Henry's
garage.
All right,
hand
let
at
me
the
go to the
door.
bathroom and I'll be right
Henry
out.
confided that while he would go ahead and feed just one calf, he would not